Hague Rules. 1. Historical context. Before the Hague Rules were introduced, international sea carriage contracts were heavily skewed in favor of shipowners, carriers. These carriers often included broad exemption clauses in bills of lading to avoid liability for loss or damage to cargo. As a result, shippers, cargo owners, had little protection if their goods were lost or damaged. There was no international consistency. Each country had its own laws, and contract terms varied widely. Disputes often led to complex and expensive litigation. To solve this, there was a push to create a uniform legal framework that would balance the rights and responsibilities of carriers and cargo owners. 2. Purpose of the Hague Rules. Unify and standardize legal rules governing the international carriage of goods by sea. Establish minimum legal responsibilities for the carrier that cannot be excluded by contract. Ensure a fair balance between the shipper and carrier, especially regarding liability for cargo damage. Provide legal certainty and uniformity to international trade and maritime commerce. 3. Drafting and adoption. The rules were prepared by the Comité Maritime International, CMI, a respected non-governmental maritime law organization. Adopted at a diplomatic conference in Brussels in 1924. Official title: International Convention for the Unification of Certain Rules of Law Relating to Bills of Lading. Entered into force, 1931. Many countries incorporated the Hague Rules into national law. Example: UK Carriage of Goods by Sea Act 1924, US Carriage of Goods by Sea Act 1936. 4. Scope of application. Applies only to contracts of carriage covered by a bill of lading or similar document. Applies to the tackle-to-tackle period, meaning from the time the goods are loaded onto the ship until the time they are discharged. Applies to international shipments between two different countries. Applies if one of the involved countries has enacted the Hague Rules or has agreed by contract to apply them. 5. Carrier's core responsibilities. Article 3. A. Seaworthiness. The carrier must exercise due diligence to ensure that the ship is seaworthy, structurally sound and fitted with proper machinery and equipment, capable of withstanding the voyage conditions. B. Proper manning and equipment. The vessel must be properly crewed, trained, and equipped, supplied with necessary provisions and stores. C. Fitness of cargo spaces. The holds and all areas where cargo is stored must be clean, dry, and safe, suitable for the type of cargo being carried. D. Care for the cargo. From loading to discharge, the carrier must load, stow, handle, carry, and discharge the goods carefully and properly. Avoid negligence or damage to the cargo. Carrier's defenses and immunities. Article 4. This article lists 17 exceptions under which the carrier is not liable for loss or damage as long as they fulfilled their due diligence obligations. These include act of God, natural disasters like earthquakes or storms, perils of the sea, unpredictable dangers at sea like rogue waves, fire, unless caused by the fault of the carrier, errors in navigation or ship management, mistakes by the crew in operating the ship, war or hostilities, acts of war, blockades, etc., strikes or lockouts, labor disruptions beyond the carrier's control, latent defects, hidden issues in the ship not discoverable with reasonable inspection, saving life or property at sea. Carrier is excused if damage occurs while performing a rescue. These immunities give significant protection to the carrier, reducing their exposure to liability. 7. Limitation of liability. The Hague Rules place a monetary cap on the amount a carrier can be held liable for. Limit: £100 per package or unit. If the cargo value is declared in the bill of lading, the carrier can be held liable for the full amount. This encourages shippers to declare cargo value and ensures predictability of maximum liability. 8. Time limit for claims. The shipper must bring any claim for loss, damage, or delay within 1 year. The countdown starts from the date of delivery or the date when the goods should have been delivered. After this period, the carrier is discharged from liability and the claim is time-barred. 9. Bill of lading requirements. The bill of lading, a crucial shipping document, must contain identifying marks on packages, quantity, weight, or volume of cargo, apparent condition of the goods when received. The bill of lading serves as prima facie evidence of cargo receipt and is used to claim compensation for loss or damage. Limitations of the Hague Rules. While revolutionary at the time, the Hague Rules became outdated due to a carrier favored structure. Most of the liability exemptions benefit the carrier. Many important risks, like crew errors or fire, are beyond the cargo owner's control but still exempted. B. Low liability limit. The limit of 100 pounds per package became inadequate over time due to inflation and rising cargo values, resulted in cargo owners being undercompensated for loss. C. Limited applicability. Only applies to ocean transport under bills of lading and does not apply to multimodal transport. It excludes deck cargo, live animals. D. Only due diligence standard. Carriers are not strictly liable for seaworthiness, only required to make reasonable efforts. Legacy and influence. Despite its flaws, the Hague Rules had a lasting global impact, created the first international legal standard for sea carriage and widely adopted and still forms the basis of many national laws. Example: U.S. COGSA 1936. Paved the way for the following later conventions. Hague-Visby Rules 1968. Amended liability limits and addressed containerization. Hamburg Rules 1978. Aimed to provide more balanced cargo owner protection. Rotterdam Rules 2008. Aimed to unify multimodal transport regimes. These topics will be covered in separate videos. Thank you for watching the video. For more marine topics, please subscribe the channel. Please help us with your valuable feedback to improve the contents.